Hello and welcome to another video with me, Mark, where I talk about Raspberry Pis, and I'm going to talk about the system that I used for the Dread House Halloween experience 2023 at Capel Manor. So I used my Raspberry Pi 400 to record the audio, and here you can see that I basically just plug it into my 27-inch monitor, and I prefer this system actually to using anything else. So ordinarily I kind of I prefer to stay within the Linux universe, or apart from video editing, believe it or not. Actually, I'm doing this video on a Windows 10 PC, mainly because I haven't got to grips with Kdenlive yet, and I use Filmora. But even then I'm coming to the end of my interest of using that software, mainly because it's just with all the updates and the upgrades, it just gets a bit tedious. I'm still actually in November 2023 using Filmora 11. So I did upgrade to 13 but just didn't like it, so I downgraded back to 11, and that's what I'm using for the video. But anyway, this is about Raspberry Pi. So the Raspberry Pi 400, now as you can see, plugging that into the 27-inch monitor, as opposed to my Pop! OS Linux system that I use. So I boot from the 400 via USB, rather than using an SD card, which it's just faster, and it takes very little effort to be able to do that actually. And to be fair, actually, it's such a long time ago, I can't remember how I did it, but I have done that. I've got a Raspberry Pi 4 gig, which I've kind of stopped using because every time I plug in USB, it just keeps crashing. So I was kind of looking at whether I should buy a new one or not. And right now, currently on November the 15th 2023, the Raspberry Pi, or Pi Hut, has some 8GB Pis, which is very unusual. So as you can see, I'm booting into the USB card, and I don't have on that note, don't have a sound card connected, because this is really for demonstration purposes, and I'll go into that in a second. But once it boots into the main screen of Pi OS, I use Reaper Audio, which I bought the license for, or the lifetime license, which was only for £50. But then I can use that across many different systems, and so even though I've got one license, I can use that on my Mac, on which I very rarely use, on the PC, and on the various Linux devices that I have. So there you can see I don't have a sound card connected, but that's not particularly relevant. So the audio for the Halloween experience was a mixture of royalty-free sound effects that I downloaded, and some I actually went out with my Tascam DR40X and just recorded it. Various things like the witch's scream is a friend of mine who did the sound effect, and then I actually went out and recorded some crows crowing, and then but the Pi 400 handles 8 tracks of audio, 15 minutes worth at 24-bit 48 kilohertz really easily, with some processing, because there's some stuff I've put some compression on some of the effects, and then created reverb, a reverb track to and a surround plugin as well, and then rendered to an MP. Actually, I rendered to a WAV. So I mix that down. So as you can see, I'm using a Pi 3B to play it back, actually in the place, the Dread House itself. So rather than making the Pi 3B have 8 individual tracks, it's the actual stereo mix. To keep the power down. So and that ran for 7 days, very happily. With absolutely no problems whatsoever. So even now, with the Pi Foundation that's just released the Pi 5, using the Pi 400 and the Pi 3B Plus in 2023, still going strong. So me personally, I'm sort of hard pushed to justify. So I'm not going to do the usual thing of asking people to like and subscribe. I just hope that you enjoy this video, and take this opportunity to thank you for watching.